Hi, David Odell here with Odell Complete Concrete. This is my son's first day on the job because this is actually his job. My older son, Timothy, he actually did this particular project. He's going to remove the entire driveway. He's not going to be really messing with this entry area over here on the left, but he's going to focus on the driveway and this little walkway on the side here. What's going to happen is that asphalt's coming out, the little concrete and brick border, that's all coming out. We're going to simulate a new walkway by double brick inlay border to separate the driver from the walkway to the street. And then another ribbon's going to go across the driveway. It's visual, and not only is it visual, it actually acts as a cracking point or a separation for the concrete to move independently without cracking randomly. The asphalt's coming out here. I was probably on a different job running my mini skids here, so they removed it all by hand. And asphalt really comes out easy and clean. And it's coming out at about 2.5 inches, which means a little dirt may have to come out of there. But that asphalt had probably been in there so long that it probably did settle somewhat, so it's concaved, in other words, from all the vehicle traffic. So you could actually crown the driveway and still get your depth for your 4-inch new concrete pour. And then you know how the lawn comes up over the years, and because of roots, trees, grass clippings, it comes up naturally. So if you crown it, match your lawn level, because of just, you know, the way nature works, you're going to end up with the 4 inches still and be at lawn level. This is a rock salt finish on this little concrete walkway here along the edge of the driveway. Salt finish, and water softeners use that a lot. They put the rock salt in the softeners to make the water soft. And you can utilize it to make the holes in the concrete as well, and that's what they did here. Really popular about 30 years ago. Makita 60-pound electric jackhammer. For your money on a demolition hammer, that's your best choice. I mean, if you look at the Hilti, which is 3 times the cost of the Makita, or you go with the Bosch or the DeWalt, the Makita hits the hardest and the fastest in its class, really. The Hilti hits slower and harder, but the Makita hits faster. Little lowboy dumpster. Looks like one lowboy is going to get the whole package in there. From the looks of things, we are going to be doing the walkway to wrap around that front entry because it was so damaged. Had some cracks and it was lifting, mostly due to that tree right there in the front yard, I would say. Although where that rose bush is and that elevated planter in the front courtyard area, may have been a tree in there at one time. Pretty common. The string lines that you see getting put up on the edge, that's going to be your outside of brick. That's actually going to be a recess, because what we're going to do here is a monolithic pour. And that's for the base of the brick ribbons that are going to go all the way around the perimeter and then both directions through the driveway, plus another ribbon to separate the sidewalk on the edge of the driveway. So the long ways, you're going to have 4 ribbons across running the length, and then you're going to have one all the way across. A lot of brickwork coming up in this one. And when you do brick work on a driveway, especially where you got vehicle traffic bouncing over the concrete, you know, pretty good load on the tires, you're going to want to do it this way because everything moves as one piece, the brick, the concrete, everything, so you don't get separations at your grout lines, the grout joints between the driveway and the brick, because it's all sitting on the same base that was monolithically poured. And that's what you're going to see here, how to do that. A lot of people come in, maybe they'll set the brick first then pour the concrete around it, but they're not connected together, so they have settlement and they're bouncing at different rates, and something always fails, whether it be the ground, the brick dropping, the driveway coming up. Something happens in those joints. But like this, for instance, the way we're going to do it here, the concrete from the driveway goes underneath the brick in one piece, and also the steel reinforcement goes all the way continuous underneath the brick. The nice thing about the asphalt driveways, typically, asphalt relies on a really good base, because you can't build a bridge out of asphalt, as you know. You've probably never seen a bridge out of asphalt, or pavers for that matter, but concrete, you can build bridges if you have steel in it. So in other words, asphalt had a good base here. It had the crushed concrete base underneath asphalt, which is going to make a nice bonus for the driveway. Now you can see the 2x2s. The 2x2s on the inside of the outside of the perimeter is the recessed step down to allow for the inlays, the brick inlays. And that 2x2 gives you just enough space for the split bricks to fit in there and give you some thin set underneath it. What we're going to be doing with the ribbons that run the lengthwise on this driveway, we're going to build the whole framework in the street here, because that's a nice flat surface to work off of for these long runs. We can nail basically what we're going to be creating is a railroad out of 2x2, 9-inch outside to outside of the 2x2s. That allows for your 8-inch brick with your 1/2-inch grout lines on either side, so you got a 9-inch total. And we'll just cut, so you've got your 2x2s, actually they're 1.5 by 1.5, so that's 3 inches. Then you're going to have to throw a 6-inch spreader in the middle, screw it all together. Now you have a railroad track that's at 9 inches. Now this outside perimeter is a little different, because you're not going to have grout on the outside of your brick. So you're really going to be 8.5 inches from inside of that 2x2 to the outside formwork. 8.5 inches. Because you only have grout on one side of the brick. But even if you run it long, it's no worries, because your brick is 2 inches above that outside form. It'll also help protect it from other obstacles hitting the edge of brick potentially. It looks like we have a second low boy in here just for the dirt removal. Dirt was high, so it's coming out. Actually, it's a road base getting removed here, and not all of it. It looks like probably half of what they put in here for the asphalt driveway is getting removed. Need to hang a 2x2 on that inside edge, 8.5 inches in. So the concrete on the driveway portion will finish to the top, but when you step onto the outside brick ribbon inlay, you'll be finishing to the bottom of that 2x2. Now that they got enough dirt out of here, we can recompact. Before setting the brick ribbons in the center of the driveway, we run the rebar all the way through. And then we can set the forms over the top of the rebar for the recessed area to allow for brick. That means the rebar's continuous, so everything is all one piece.
Okay, quick little update right here. What I'm doing is I'm cutting these 6-inch little space dividers to set these brick forms in. The reason why they're gonna be 6 inches is because I want 9-inch space gaps for these right here, and each one of these is about 1.5 inches. So once I put the 6-inch spacers between these gaps to hold them in place, so that when the concrete's pushing on each side, they won't lose their 9 inches, is what I need. I have the first one built out. This is what it's gonna kind of look like. We got a good 9 inches so that the bricks and grout can fit in between this. I'm gonna put the first one right down the middle of the driveway. So check it out. Nine inches from outside to outside. And then we're gonna make about 4 more of these and place them.
Now it's all about building those railroads, 9-inch apart, 2x2s, and then setting them in place and suspending them in the air by stakes. So here's what I was talking about earlier about building your railroad. You got your 6-inch spreaders in the middle, 2x2s on the outside. You got some cleats on the back tying those 8-footers together. And it's all screws and a screw gun. Put it all together, drop them in place. Pull a string, drive a stake, nail it to grade. There's your line stakes on either end. Once you get one side of this straight, automatically the other side's going to be straight because it's all one piece. The nice thing about using wood stakes at this point is that you can pour the whole driveway. Those wood stakes will be locked in the concrete. You could strip them wet, but you could also leave them if you're running into a bind and the concrete's getting away from you. Just leave the wood stakes in, break them off the next day, and set your brick right over the top. So you got some options. I mean, if those were steel stakes and you lost it, that means you'd have to cut them all off, and you lose a lot of money in steel stakes. Here's where all your brick's gonna go, your brick inlays. Basically, we have 1.5 inch recess because those are 2x2s, and we know that's 1.5 inch. But it's crucial though that you maintain that 1.5 inch, or those splits aren't going to fit. A lot of times when you're pouring a monolithic with a step down, the concrete has a tendency to mushroom up in those bands, so you always have to watch that when you're pouring, and if it starts coming up, you got to scrape it down, otherwise you'll be chipping the next day trying to slip those bricks in there, and that's never fun. So here's your nice setup, just about ready to pour. Put a little water on it, bring the concrete trucks in. See how the walkway is separated from the driveway? Nice little detail. Anyway, this is part 1 of a 3-part series. The next part, we're going to show the concrete placement, and then finishing all the concrete. The third part's going to be the actual brick inlay set. Have a good one. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share.